Hello, my beautiful Leos. Welcome to your October 2021 reading. So basically for this reading, I'm doing a 3-card spread and it will indicate your most recent past, your present, and the potential outcome for the future. I'm going to be using the Light Seer's Tarot for the first row, indicating those 3 topics, and following with the Animal Spirit deck from the Wild Unknown to clarify. So let's jump right in and see what all of my lovely Leos have going on for the month of October 2021. Please, universe, spirits, guides, angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, what can you tell us about what Leos are going to be experiencing for the month of October, starting with what has went on in their most recent past, please? So what's taken place in Leo's most recent past? All right. Oh, wow, Leo. Death and Rebirth. So interesting because in my collective readings that I do daily for a membership group, the theme over the past couple of weeks, or really several weeks, has been this death and rebirth or transformation, right? Moving from one state of being to another, shedding those layers. So I definitely feel like this is coinciding with the energy that I've been experiencing and reading for the collective currently and over, again, the past several weeks. So what is it, Leo? What was it for you? What have you allowed to die, or what skin have you shed and given room for this rebirth? That'll be interesting to see. So what's going on for Leos presently for October 2021, please? What about presently for Leos? What's going on? Too many. Interesting. These cards did fall out, but we have, they were both face up. The High Priestess here and the Strength card, which is the Leo card, right? So interesting that that should fly out. If it comes out again, obviously I'll take it. But I just think that's fascinating. And I do think that us Leos have had to be very strong over even the past year. A lot of things that at least I identify with as a Leo is having this really huge heart that's incredibly affected by pain and struggle and turmoil, even outside of self, even in, the collective or in our communities. And so I know that has been a very big struggle for me personally as a Leo. And, so I feel like that strength has been needed, right? Because I feel like this huge transformation has taken place over the past year. So let's see. What do we have going on presently for Leo, please, in the month of October for 2021? What is going on for all of our Leos? October 2021. What is the present situation? All right, we have the Queen of Wands, right? And wands are fire energy. This is being bold and expressive. This is being super confident and sitting in your power, right? Realizing how much you hold within you. And I just want to point out something fascinating before we pull what the potential future outcome is. If you look at this Death and Rebirth card, there's that like light burst in the middle of where the face would be. And here in this card, there's that light burst in the palm of her hand. So the message that's coming through for me here right now is having this internal light that exudes outwardly, right? And that can be picked up as power, as being bold in your expression, confident, right? Knowing that you have that power and that light within you. So I think that's pretty fascinating to me as a reader. Let's see what the potential future outcome is for us Leos. What is the potential future outcome for all of my Leo friends, please? Wow, that's crazy. Look at that. Here it is again, buried underneath, but Nonetheless, I think that's, incredible validation in regards to this Leo energy that I'm tapping into, right? So please, universe, spirits, guides, angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, what can you tell me about the potential future outcome for my Leos? What is the potential future outcome for my Leos, please? Oh, too many. Potential future outcome. All right. So we have here the Two of Pentacles has flipped over in my hand. And this is really about taking on a lot, juggling, right? Needing that balance. So that's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds with the rest of the cards. At the bottom of the deck for you, Leo, we have the Page of Wands. So the bottom of the deck is that representation of what is potentially hidden or unseen, right? Something we're not aware is going on beneath the surface, or something that could potentially be unexpected coming in, okay? And that will be determined what exactly it's referring to as I go through the reading. It usually becomes pretty clear by the end. All right, so let's get some clarifiers out so we have more on what we've experienced, what we're currently experiencing, and could potentially experience. What can you tell me, please, about this Death and Rebirth for Leo? Okay, I guess that's the one. You guys, look at this. It's like, it landed right there. That's so funny. All right, so we have the Camel coming out to clarify this Death and Rebirth. Fascinating. The Camel I had in a reading, I believe yesterday for my membership, and that Camel card represents the ultimate balance between fire and water. And if you've been interested in tarot long enough, then you will know, that fire is kind of that spirituality as well as that passion and fire and action. And then the Camel is, it is a fire sign in the deck, but it does represent this balance of fire and water, right? With water being emotions, our feelings, the depths of our soul, right? So, I feel like we may have come into a space of kind of stripping away the constructs of one or the other. But again, that will become more evident as we go through the cards and as the energy flows in, as I focus in on each individual one. I would like to share with you that I do not know all of these animal spirit deck cards. And so there are times that I do need to check the guidebook. And I often do that just to kind of grab a baseline and tie the cards together. Again, because I don't know them. Once I'm more, I have that knowledge base stored and actually know all the cards, then I won't feel the need to do that anymore. I will just intuitively grab onto what comes through. But until then, here we are. So please, I'm going to ask you for your patience if that needs to happen. Why do we have the Queen of Wands here in the present for my Leos, please? All right, look at that, was fast, right at the bottom there with fish energy. And so it's fascinating because I was just talking about this balance between fire and water, right? And again, the Camel is in the section, or represents the fire energy. And then we have fire energy here with the Queen of Wands and the fish, which is water. So, fire, water, and this is that representation of balance of the two. So I think that's pretty fascinating how the cards do that, right? They tend to be kind of repetitive a little bit. All right, so why the Two of Pentacles? What is it that we're going to be juggling? What is it that we might take on too much of? How is this the potential future outcome? Please tell me more. That's too many. Why the Two of Pentacles, please? Too many again. Why the Two of Pentacles? I tend to take jumpers. So if there are, a big stack that falls out or something like that, I tend to put it back because, it's likely a mistake of mine, or sometimes I kind of see that as spirit trying to get to the card that it wants by, having other cards drop out or fly out. So why the Two of Pentacles, please? There it is. See it flipped over in the deck there. We have the Earthworm. All right. At the bottom of the animal spirit deck is the panther. Now, I do know that the panther represents annihilation of the unnecessary and purging. So I definitely feel that as a Leo. I don't know about the rest of you, but purging has definitely been a highlight in my most recent past and my experience as a Leo over the past, I don't know, definitely the past week. And as I'm filming this in real time, it's Friday, October 8th. So, over the past week or so, it's definitely been in that energy for me as a Leo. I don't know about you guys, but just sharing that. All right, so let's jump in, right? The most recent past here is that death and rebirth again, right? So this is cycles of transformation, right? Again, just that literal death and rebirth, right? Or transition, that change, ending so that a new beginning can come, right? So, it's really about allowing things to leave or let go of things or die or what have you so that new things can take their place, right? And I feel this tremendously. And I know I keep kind of coming back to myself as a Leo, but often when I do these readings, I'm quite surprised because I separate my own individual energy from that collective energy as I'm tapping in. But it's fascinating to see how they align, or some of what I read in Leo aligns with how I feel as a Leo myself. So let's talk about this camel card. I'm going to jump to the book. Yay, fast. The camel, right? It's telling us why that death and rebirth card is here. And what's fascinating is the camel does represent knowing oneself, being resourceful or independent. It says here the camel can handle absolutely anything as it carries a wealth of nourishment within. This wondrous creature is self reliant and handles challenge with ease. Even in the face of excess heat, which can be, judgment or anger, the camel searches inside for the cool elixir of water to calm the situation. The camel represents the ultimate form of bringing opposites into balance, fire and water, and being responsible for one's own reactions. The camel is a wonderful traveler and is especially fond of trips to faraway lands. So, the camel it's interesting because it represents, or let me rephrase that. When out of balance, this energy tends to be, kind of dehydrated and lacking vitality. And then to be brought back in, right, it needs this pilgrimage. And, that think of that as a journey, right? And you can think of the death and rebirth card here as a journey as well, right? That transition, that change can be, definitely interpreted as a sort of journey. And, once it's brought back into balance, it represents, or has this energy of being calm, content, and having a sparkle in the eye, right? So, kind of like that, actually kind of like the death card here, even though there are no eyes, right? That light burst in the center, is right between where the eyes would be. And so, I see that as kind of like that third eye or that inner knowing, which is, again, relates back to this camel and knowing oneself. So, Leo, I feel like in our most recent past, I keep saying you, but then going back to me because I'm a Leo, so just forgive me for the, change. This isn't my reading, it's a Leo reading, and so I keep trying to correct myself. But as Leos, I feel what the most recent past, these cards are telling us is that I feel like we've come to this space of really discovering ourselves, discovering who we are, and really acknowledging that, sitting in that, embracing that, right? And I feel like it's the camels. Why is the death and rebirth card here? Well, we've gone through this pilgrimage, right? We've gone through this transition. We've learned that we can be self-reliant. We've learned that no matter what anybody else says or does, or how they point the fingers, or what how they appear to see us, we know ourselves better than anyone else, right? And I feel like there may be that or may have been in the most recent past, that judgment or heat or anger, right, coming from maybe family and friends who recognize this change or have recognized this change within you, and it's unsettling to them, right? So that may have brought you judgment or, heat from people outside of yourself who don't understand. There's always that you've changed. Like, I don't, and some people don't like that, right? Human beings in general don't like change. We don't like to be uncomfortable. So you may have been facing that recently, right, in your most recent past, that judgment, because you've went through this transformation, and whether it feels quite large and significant, right, as like my overall being has changed, or if there are just parts of you that changed, right? Maybe you don't like to drink and party anymore. Maybe you don't listen to the same types of music. Maybe you don't have the same hobbies, and your friends and family and those around you who were once aligned with you when you were in the previous state recognize that you no longer hold these things that they can attach to, right? And so now it's like, well, what the hell? And society and programming will make you believe that you owe those people something when you really don't, right? They've just worn out. I don't want to say worn out. That feels terrible when I say it like that, energetically. So I don't want to say worn out, but it's they've served their purpose in your life, right? And so that death and rebirth cycle, when we think of it, a lot of times people fear this death card because they think of it as a physical death, as your human vessel dying, or as someone close to you dying, or something along those lines. But in reality, life is this endless cycle of death and rebirth. You are not the same person you were at 5. You're not the same person you were at 15. You're not the same person now that you were at 22, right? Obviously, depending on what age you are currently, but you're just not the same person. And that's because we go through these cycles, right? And the same is true with friends. The same can be true with family, with jobs, etc. Right? So you may have been catching some heat for this in your most recent past, but what I feel in the present, where we're sitting in the present, is this confidence in self, this confidence in our power and our boldness in who the fuck we are. Because I feel like the Queen of Wands, whether you are a masculine or feminine energy, whether you are of male or female gender, which you can absolutely be a male with feminine energy or sitting in feminine energy, and you can absolutely be a woman sitting in masculine energy, right? So no matter what energy you're sitting in, the Queen of Wands is like, I know who the fuck I am. I know what I have to offer. I know that I am capable of so much more than what anyone else would believe me to be. And I'm doing and living life the way I see fit, right? Again, this is that determination. But it's also, helping other people. This is not being so much in your own confidence that you're arrogant, right? This is not being so much in your own confidence and in your own power that you're like, I'm too good for you. No, 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 no. The Queen of Wands isn't some snooty little biatch. Like, the Queen of Wands is this being who knows what it fucking took to get here. The determination, the confidence, that backing yourself, right? She knows what it took. And so she sees that in other people as well and understands that. So I feel like even though you may have had this most recent experience of changing and having or getting heat from it, I feel like you're sitting in this place presently recognizing, this is me, right? This is me. But let's look at this let's look at this fish energy and see, clarify a little bit more about why the Queen of Wands is here to give us a bigger picture. Okay, so this fish energy represents restlessness, change of focus, and being lost in the current. The fish loves to be subsumed in life's current. Nothing pleases it more than movement, movement, and more movement. The roaming lifestyle of the fish may be exhilarating for a while, but usually leads to weariness and slippery relationships. With all the possibilities out there in the vast waters, the fish becomes lost without clear goals and intentions. Spend some time with the lunar forces, dear fish, as the peace of as the peace and calm of the moon will soothe your soul. When out of balance, this energy is distracted and changes its mind often and needs to set a small goal and accomplish it in order to feel adaptable and travel well, or other words, in order to be brought back into balance. So I really find this fascinating because firstly, we've just had a new moon in Libra as I record this in real time. So I do find that incredibly fascinating. And this talks here about spending some time with the lunar forces and really, having clear goals and intentions, which new moon is all about setting those goals and intentions, right? It's to bring forth the new, to manifest the new. And so what I'm picking up here with why is this Queen of Wands here, right? Why do we have, or why are we in this energy of being powerful and bold and confident? Why are we in this energy of recognizing our creativity and what brings us joy and passion, what ignites our passion and really um pulls us into that energy of being determined, right? Why is that? Why? Well, I feel here that in previous energy, right, we do have the death and rebirth. I feel in previous energy we may have been just swimming along not knowing anything about anything. And I don't say that to be demeaning to you, Leo, or to, insult you in any way, shape, or form. I mean that in the sense of you don't know what you don't know. Point blank, period. You don't know. And I feel some of us have been lost in kind of that matrix mentality, right? Fearing judgment of other people. Leos tend and can be, how do I word this? That it's usually not. It can be intentional, but more often, in what I found in talking to other Leos than not, is we tend to be the center of attention without really wanting it. Now, I am a Leo Sun, Leo Moon, Capricorn rising with a bunch of Earth and fire in my chart. So this may be different for some people as a Leo, but in my experience, right, like we don't necessarily want to be the center of attention, right? It just kind of happens that way. And so, you may have been getting like judgment and things like that from people because it's just you kind of stand out in the crowd, right? And so I feel like we may have gotten lost in that a little bit, right? Lost in that the what is the word I'm looking for, please? Lost in the opinions of society and the matrix and that programming of our families, of our friends, right? Lost in this image of what we feel like we should be. And I feel like that is it's that distraction, right? That distraction that's caused by outside or external forces. And I feel like here the fish is, well, why is the Queen of Wands here? Well, the Queen of Wands is determined, she's focused, she's confident, she feels powerful, right? And the fish is like the complete opposite of that, right? It's distracted and changes its mind. It's gets lost and doesn't have that clear focus. And so I feel like we've went through this death and rebirth process, which has kind of sparked this, like, I'm just not comfortable. And when you start to feel really uncomfortable and start to feel, tired and distracted all the time and with no clear focus, a lot of times it's because you're not in alignment with your path, right? Somewhere, something is out of alignment and needs to be brought back. And so, I feel like presently the energy is calling us to really embrace that confidence if you aren't already, right? And to really recognize the power that we hold within to get focused and to be adaptable to the changes. Wow, yeah, because we do have in the potential future outcome the Two of Pentacles, which is that representation of taking on too much, juggling, really having this disharmony or imbalance, right? Giving more of yourself than what you have to give, right? Wearing yourself out could, continuing in this way could burn you out, right? Ooh, okay. We'll see. I just kind of got this drop in, or just got this drop in of um you'll burn yourself out, and I feel like that's where this Queen of Wands is coming from in the present, because if we continue in this fish energy, right, we're going to continue to keep moving and not accomplishing anything and burning ourselves the fuck out, right? And I feel like as a Leo, that, I mean, it can be very easy for me to become distracted and not accomplish what I need to, right? And to be like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. And that's kind of that fish type of mentality, right? That very restless and loss of focus, like really just like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and really kind of having that robotic or autopilot type of energy about you, right? Way about you, carrying yourself in that way and just kind of going through the motions without being intentional, right? And saying, this is what I need to apply my focus to. This is what I need to be doing, and stay focused on that thing until you complete it and move on to something else, right? And the 3D world, the 3D matrix does tend to feel like that a lot. Like, we need to go to work. We need to take care of the kids. We need to make sure we go to PTA. We need to make sure we go to the sporting things. We need to make sure we do pay all the bills, that we do all the things that envelop us as human beings for survival, right? We can get lost in all that day-to-day shit. So, I feel like as a Leo, I definitely feel this energy. I definitely feel that need to be more in our own power, and really essentially holding that light within our hand, right? Much like the Queen of Wands here, like, I have everything I need here, right? I just need to focus. If you look, she's focused on that light, right? She's looking right at it. And so I just need I just need to pull that focus to where it needs to be, so that I can make those accomplishments, which is fascinating to me as I'm talking about this Queen of Wands and how that is being shown to me. Because again, that fish, it says to bring it into balance, set a small goal and accomplish it. So that's what I'm getting, right? We're going to burn ourselves out if we keep trying to do all the things. So just stay focused on the one thing. Like, maybe it's, I'm going to eat at least 3 salads a week. Focus on that for a month until it becomes a habit, right? And you're like, okay, I'm now eating 3 salads a week without having to, write it down or force myself, or I don't know, whatever it might be for you, right? This is very, a very simplistic example, and then move on to, I want to work out at least twice a week. Okay, now I'm eating salads 3 times a week. We've got that down. Let me work out twice a week until it becomes a habit, right? And then move on to the next goal, so that we don't end up burning ourselves out. In the potential future outcome, again, we have that, the 2 of Pentacles with the juggling, and that is being clarified by that earthworm. So let me jump in and talk more about this earthworm energy, so we can really hone in on why the 2 of Pentacles has showed up for us today. Just give me 1 second. All right. Oh, wow. So the earthworm represents an energy that is shy, hesitant, and reluctant to share inner vision. It says, we have all felt the woes of the earthworm at some point along the way. The earthworm indicates a newbie or novice working to establish confidence in a new field. Others around you may seem wise and experienced, but it's important to remember they once felt earthworm energy too. This card is a reminder not to be intimidated or lose hope. Mastery takes time, and you're on the right track. Besides, rumor has it a beginner's mind offers the most valuable insights. So I want to share with you that it says here, when this energy is out of balance, it is self-conscious and apprehensive. Bringing it back into balance would require speaking up and risking embarrassment. And when it is brought into balance, finally, that energy becomes earnest, intelligent, and valuable. Okay. So I would like to share a couple of things I've picked up. Firstly, I want to share that this energy talks about being or working to establish confidence in a new field. Now, this is, I find fascinating because we have new being represented here with the Death and Rebirth card, right? Let go of the old to bring in the new. Anything that dies cannot be reborn the same exact way. Okay, I don't know why I just said that, but that's the message that I got. And so, we have the new coming in. And then, it talks about, again, that confidence, which is represented here, again, by the Queen of Wands, right? She embodies confidence. So, this being our most recent past, this being our present, and this line here indicating the potential future outcome. Well, that potential future outcome, I feel, is why is the Two of Pentacles here? Why is there this juggling or this balance or, this taking on too much? That type of thing. Why is it here? Well, I feel like we're discovering these many aspects of who we are, right? We have these many, many layers of who we are. And I think we're discovering that through this Death and Rebirth that we went through recently. And I think we will learn even more about that as we move into this confidence, into owning our power and understanding our own light and seeing, and gaining more focus, right? I think that we will, how do I word this? Give me 1 second, guys. I feel like that confidence is what is going, or let me rephrase this, okay? Because again, that Two of Pentacles represents juggling the many aspects of self. And as we go through this Death and Rebirth process, we find and discover so many layers of ourself, right? And then sometimes the old layers that we have start to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's almost like they create this resistance for the new, right? They kind of clash into each other because they're not like energies. And so, I'm picking up that sense here as like, we've gone through this Death and Rebirth process in the most recent past. And presently, I feel like we're probably working on building that confidence and gaining that confidence and stepping into it and recognizing our power, and really becoming joyous about who we are and what we hold within and all these different layers of self that we have, right? Finding confidence in that, I feel. And then figuring out who we are and what we want, right? I feel like if we come to a place where we start to lose that confidence, right? Where we start to question if this is our path, if, we're doing the right thing, if following our joy is what's truly meant for us, right? If following our purpose or what we feel is our purpose is what will lead us to the life that we want. And I feel like the earthworm letting us know why that Two of Pentacles could show up in the future as a potential outcome is the earthworm is kind of giving us that warning, like, don't be afraid to express the vision that comes to you. Don't be afraid to be an experienced in the field that is calling you. Don't be afraid to share what you hold within. Express that, get it out, because I get that feeling that if you don't, it's going to turn into this juggling who you are. And I feel like ultimately that leads to spiraling, right? Because then it's like, you don't know who you are, you don't know where to focus, you don't know, you start to question yourself, you kind of go inward, and then you become self-conscious, and then you start to develop this apprehensiveness towards your goals, your dreams, and what it is that lights you up, because you're like, nah, that's not meant for me. No, like my 3D human matrix self tells me I need to work this 9 to 5 job, not quit and paint for a living. I don't know what it is, you guys, right? But whatever that calling is for you, that's like, nah, break through the 3D norms, sis, like move on, right? That stuff I feel like will creep up the moment you stop aligning with your goals, your mission, your purpose, right? The moment you stop aligning with your joy, the moment that you stop looking at the things that light you up the way this Queen of Wands is looking at the light in her hand, and start being hesitant and shy and resistant and holding in, right? The moment you start doing that is the moment that it becomes this juggle between who you are, and who you're trying to be, and your true, raw, authentic self, and the old you, the unhealed you, the you that has the programming and the wounding and the trauma and the stories from who you once were. Like, I just heard, don't take steps backwards. And then I immediately was drawn to this card. Don't take steps backwards. Like, you went through this death and rebirth process. Don't take steps backwards by becoming shy and hesitant and reluctant to share who you are, to share your own light, to share what you've learned about yourself. Don't take those steps backwards. Stand in your confidence, stand in your power, know who you are, right? And focus on that, because that is what is going to take you to the next space. That's going to take you to the next level. That's what's going to get you more into alignment with your true, raw, authentic soul, right? At the bottom of the deck, we have here the Panther, which is again talking about that annihilation of the unnecessary and purging, right? So I'm going to set that right there so you can see it, and go ahead and pop into the book here real quick just to read this to you. So the Panther won't stand to see our growth or energy stagnate. Instead, it pounces into our lives and causes all kinds of havoc, with the ultimate intention of bringing us toward more fulfilling lives. It's unexpected, uncomfortable, and sometimes feels devastating. But after all the dust clears, it's easy to see the Panther's wisdom at work. We've all been through these experiences, and they've made us better people. Trust that the Panther's journey always leads to a brighter place. It literally says here, it's unexpected, right? And I talked about in the beginning of the reading how the bottom of the deck tends to be this energy that could be unexpected, hidden, or unseen, right? And so I want to share with you, and I don't know why this is coming in. This is not typically how I would read this, okay? But this Panther being here, I get this feeling of, we go through death and rebirth cycles, and there's a saying like, new level, new devil. When you get to these new levels, there are always other shit that comes up. There's layers upon layers to you as a person. And so when we reveal and heal, we heal some layers and then reveal others, there are other things that come up that need to be healed, or that fall out of alignment as we continue to shift our vibration each time we level up. And so I get the feeling of, there may be, right, coming up for you, this upheaval, or this discomfort, or this devastation, or this feeling of purging and things like this. And I feel like the reason for that is because we've come to this new space, right? We've arrived at this new space, and that means that we have to release a bunch of stuff that just isn't meant for us anymore, right? And you'll know what that means for you in reference to this reading if it resonates, right? So, you know, I mean, here's the thing too, Leo, like we are, you know, in the middle, or the beginning, I should say, of a Mercury retrograde as I record this in real time. And, you know, that being said, a lot of times things from the past come up during retrograde to be helped, to be, you know, handled, healed, and released, let go of. And so, you know, I feel like it's kind of, the universe is like, all right, here's what's going on. Like, you've went through this death and rebirth process. You know, we're asking you to find this focus and to really step into your power, to step into you and who you are, right? And that during a retrograde comes up, and it's like, okay, this is the new version of you. Now we need to let go of all of this other shit. So, you know, I don't find it at all surprising that it's here. Really, I really truly don't, especially with the death and rebirth, you know, going through that cycle. At the, oh wow, at the bottom of the tarot is the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is that, you know, it's enthusiasm, it's a youthful spark, it's adventure. It's it's new, right? It's all about that new. And there's I mean, there's fire energy coming out again, right? But you know, this is new inspiration, but it's also gifting, excuse me, yourself the permission to dream. Okay? It's also excuse me, I have like super dry mouth right now. It's also, it's, I mean, it's really about like these creative sparks, right? This adventure, this enthusiasm, this optimism, right? And gifting yourself the permission to dream. And you know, I feel like that's what's going on here, right? So here's the thing. We have this fish that's asking us to get focused, and the Queen of Wands is that represents that confidence and that joy, and then, you know, helping others while you're building your queendom. So, right, building your future, what your reality, what it is you want to experience. I feel like you are doing this, right, and coming into these new ideas. This is where you're getting focus from. This is where you are finding your purpose. So sorry about that, guys. I had a little bit of an interruption, but just want to wrap up about this Page of Wands energy before we conclude this reading for your October 2021. So, you know, again, that Page of Wands is that new, right? Curiosities, creative beginnings, creative sparks, that those enthusiastic ideas. And here I feel like the universe is like, look, we're getting rid of some shit to make way for this new stuff to come in. Do it, because something beautiful is getting, you know, there's that potential for birth, right? It's a fertile time to do that. And I feel like walking away, right, is what is going to, in purging, letting go of those things that don't serve you, is what is going to allow us to get into that space, right? Don't listen to the bullshit. Don't. Step into your power and press on, because that's, you know, in true Leo fashion, that's what we do. So I really hope that this has been helpful for you. I hope you find it valuable in regards to your October. I'm sending you so much love, tons of hugs. Take care of your beautiful soul. Take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a beautiful October. Bye.